gone back with another live stream. Rose of gone back with another live stream. I'm still trying. Everyone loves us, it's easy. I don't even know if you can see. I don't know, man. Let me try to put skin on. Skin on. Everybody in my game is always this word. I don't even know why your name Jack. Bro, get out of my head. I don't even know why, bro, you dead. I don't even know why it's happening. I don't even know how this happened. I don't even know how it's gonna happen. I don't even know how I'm gonna drop into a triple game up. Everybody's ready and I can't never get no blow. I got low, but I died because I choke. You know I can get it because of these people so good. Coming over here and coming over here. Look at this. Oh! Who thought that I can dip like that? I'm only dipping into this fight, you bums. I said you bums, and I'm getting clapped up. I think I need to go back and go hit that launcher. Kill me. Oh, can I get my pickaxe? Thank you. See, the game is so bad. That's not like it's really Fortnite. I will see no more live streams on Fortnite. I just found Fortnite. Bye. I just shut the big cry. I don't even know. Oh, you can just let it come. I'm gonna die because I'm a noob. Nobody can leave this dude. He's well, he's so bad, but I am so bad, I'm so bad. Yeah, my dad and mom sleep. I gotta be quiet. I don't even know how I'm gonna get this win without erasing with my dad going to bed. I just wanna die. I don't even wanna die, but to stay alive. I just wanna get my kids. I'm gonna you see this, my dude looked at me when he said you been to me. I don't even know what's happening. I don't even know how. I got a little laugh. Legit the same clip on my last gun. tough, bro. I don't care how good somebody is. Shut your ugly self up.
My new money goal? Refinance, free of cash, turn my spare room into a
I recommend Sensodyne Care and Protection with Deep Repair. My patients are able to have that quality of life back.
Seeing how you did homeboy, so please take it easy.
But Booger is the best player on earth. Yeah, I know. No, he's not. He's legit water.
What's going on, guys? I've had a lot of people come into my chat saying they're struggling in the late game mode. They keep dying to W gears or keep dying right at...
What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. So in competitive Fortnite, a lot of players tend to have issues with endgame, whether it's not knowing how to tunnel properly, when to go for kills, or how to close out the game and clear out the last few players. There are tons of issues that you might run into which can stop you from winning endgame in scrims, arena, and tournaments. So in this video, we're going to be going over everything that you need to know to start dominating endgame in Fortnite. Also, I want to mention that this guide is valid for all game modes, so whether you're trying to improve in solos, duos, trios, or even squads, this guide should help you out a bunch. With that said, if you go on to enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like on it, and if you're new around here, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more tips and tricks content just like this. With that said though, and without further ado, let's get into it. So the first section of this video is going to be all about handling rotations. We'll be talking about zone mechanics, some meta-proof strategies for late game, as well as some general tips that you need to know when it comes to, well, not dying. Starting off with zones, in my personal opinion, late game properly starts around the 4th zone. That's where most players have established loadouts, have farmed up throughout the game, and most mid-game fights have been completed. We could argue all day about whether 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th zone is the start of endgame, but I'm going to be going with 4th. So when it comes to 4th zone, this is going to be the last quote-unquote normal zone of the match. The 4th zone is going to spawn fully within the 3rd zone, and from there, the 5th zone will take place. The 5th zone, also known as the 50-50 zone, or half in, half out, is basically the zone that's halfway within the zone and halfway outside. And from there, the 6th through 9th zones, aka the moving zones, are all, well, moving zones is basically go far outside of the current zone. They force everyone to rotate and essentially make the lobby clear out quickly. And as you probably know, if the 9th zone is actually reached, then it's basically just going to collapse into nothing but storm, resulting in a heal off. So with that said, I just wanted to go over each of the endgame zones to get anybody up to speed who might not be completely knowledgeable about them just yet. Moving on from that, the biggest key to rotations is definitely going to be mobility. Obviously, mobility kind of does depend on the meta. Between launch pads, shockwaves, impulses, crash pads, grapplers, there are simply so many mobility items that almost go through a rotation in Fortnite, but it's really critical to have some sort of mobility to rely on. It is true that in the 5th zone and beyond, you're going to find a lot of players launch padding in the current meta, but if you have nothing for yourself and nobody else happens to launch, then you're going to be in a really bad spot. So in endgame, it's definitely a good idea to look around and see if someone's about to launch pad or use mobility, but it is critical that you carry at least some mobility, that way you can stay on top of things, and anyone else using mobility that you can borrow is really just a bonus. Another thing that's critical when it comes to rotations is simply getting ahead. Getting ahead of the zone, aka rotating early, allows you to put yourself in a nice position and look back for impact frags, which we'll be discussing in a bit. As well as that, it really just creates a safety net for you, that way you're not stuck rotating last second and dying in the process. I'll tell you guys that the most common reason that amateur players die in endgame is by rotating too late and getting stuck. Now, at times it won't be possible to rotate early, such as if you're super low on materials or you don't have mobility on you for some reason, but for the most part, you're going to want to try and get into the zone at least reasonably early. That doesn't mean to launch the second the zone pops up either, but rather to wait for an opportunity when people aren't looking at you and start making your rotation. As well as that, on your rotations, you're going to want to emphasize saving materials as well, as this is...
Don't miss USA's new shoppable live competition series. Entrepreneurs pitch new products that you can buy live. And whoever sells the most gets a chance at a life-changing deal with one of America's biggest retail giants. Shop live and decide whose dreams come true. On America's Big Deal, Shop Live and Decide premieres October 14th on USA. Set your DVR.
As visual effects supervisor, I am constantly observing nature and the beauty of how light behaves and reacts to the environment.
As a car designer, I'm inspired by the dynamic sense of
You guys are so funny.
the way people move to the way your wheel spins.
Inspiration can be described
Like
as
a
the
star
act of
trooper when it
breathing
came
in
out
And
that
breathing back out.
like
Everything
this
you
time
create.
it will.
This is one of the biggest killers in Endgame.
Yeah,
Whether it's by
okay.
using a low material tarp like a triangle tarp, or holding a lot of mobility, or simply going for kills often enough to refresh your materials, you're going to want to develop some form of material strategy before it's too late. That way you don't get pushed onto low ground with zero materials and end up dead. So now that we've gone over the rotational aspects of Endgame, I want to discuss the topic of layering and explain how you can manage layers in your endgames. There are usually going to be 3 layers in Endgame: low ground, mid ground, and high ground. Starting off with mid ground, this is where the majority of players are going to be, and obviously this is just, well, the middle. Players on mid ground tend to be in a decent spot with some materials and typically some HP as well. There will be some fighting, especially between people who have low materials, but it won't be the heaviest area for fights. Mid ground is really the place that you're going to be at if you have some materials, HP, and a reasonable loadout, and you're kind of just in a normal situation. On the other hand, low ground is going to be the place you go if you're desperately looking for kills. Low ground in Endgame is basically the last resort, the place that you go if you simply can't stay on mid ground. The players on low ground are typically going to have little to no materials and probably low HP as well, and really low ground is just the place you go to get some kills and get back.
Chat! This game is gonna be the worst game ever. I can get it in, man. Get it, man. Get it, get Oh my god, can y'all leave me alone? It's like nobody, that's why y'all don't got no friends, bro. And we'll stream for the rest of the year, chat.